Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Today, I have two special guests from Habitat. I have Paul here and Jenny. And actually, I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves.
All right, I'll start. I'm Paul Sukenik. I am the Vice President of Community Services at Habitat for Humanity of Dane County. I've been with Habitat since 2016, and my role there at Habitat is I get to work with all of the families that are interested in our home buying programs, home repair programs, and our educational programs.
And I'm Jenny Ballweg. I'm the Vice President of Communications at Habitat for Humanity of Dane County, and I've been with Habitat 7 years and love getting this chance to reach out to new audiences to learn about our programs and how we can make an impact together in the community.
Great. Thank you guys so much. I wanted to bring Paul and Jenny on because I think a lot of people have heard about Habitat, but they don't know necessarily how to apply or who qualifies. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Can you just briefly tell me what Habitat's mission is?
At Habitat for Humanity of Dane County, our main mission is to offer a hand up and not a handout. So we have our 2 Habitat restores that help fund that. We have a development department that helps raise for donations. So we build about currently 15 homes a year and about 20 home repair projects that we help people who already own their homes throughout Dane County. And we do a lot of financial education as well.
Wow, that sounds great. I didn't know that many homes is built a year. Can you explain to us what the home buyers program is and what that entails?
You bet. So as Jenny mentioned, our goal for many years has been about 15 homes per year that we're building and partnering with families. We have a goal really to grow that program to 25 homes by the year 2030. So the home buying program, we're really partnering with low-income, first-time home buyer families, and we can get into some of the eligibility requirements as well, but families that want to purchase a home through Habitat will generally attend an information meeting. We hold those a couple times per year, and at that information meeting, we'll cover all the information about how they'll buy a home through Habitat. So there's sometimes a misconception that we're actually giving homes away, and we're not. The people that work with us are going to have a mortgage. They may even have 2 mortgages in order to buy their home. But we're going to make sure that we make it affordable. And the homes that we build are brand new construction for the most part. Sometimes we do a rehab, but most of the time we have brand new builds, all new materials. You may have heard of our restore. We're not putting any of the used materials that come into restore in our homes. That's used to raise funds to make our program possible. Our housing sizes are modest. We're not building big homes along the golf course. We're building homes that will have anywhere from 2 to 4 bedrooms, depending on how many people are going to be living there. Usually 1 to 2 bathrooms. And the communities we build in, it really varies on where we're able to get land.
I see. So this program is not limited to, say, like age.
The only age requirement is that the person buying the home has to be old enough to enter into a legal contract. So they got to be a minimum age of 18 in order to enter the mortgage contract to buy the house.
That's great. I think a lot of people think that this is for, say, like families or, I guess, would you say that your program can cater to people in their 20s? With low income, if they qualify for a mortgage, they can qualify for the program?
Absolutely. When we're going through the process, we don't dictate what a family means to any individual or group. So when someone's applying for home ownership, it doesn't matter how old you are other than legal age, but that you may have a multi-generational family. We last year closed a home with kids, parents, and grandparents all moving in together. And or you may just be an individual. A solo individual can also qualify for the program as long as they meet all our eligibility requirements.
Do you have to be married to be applying for this together, or can you just be partners? friends.
So, gotcha. No, absolutely not. You don't have to be married. If you're in a domestic partnership, if you're just two friends buying the house together, that's okay. We don't restrict that in any way. Going back to what I said, we don't tell anyone who their family is, or they're telling us. So what it has to be, though, is if there's two people buying the home together, they both have to be living in the home. So it can't be mom and dad helping daughter buying the home to all be on the mortgage, but mom and dad aren't really going to live there.
That's really good information to know. I think a lot of people think that they have to be a family, or if they are very young and even though they've been thinking about owning a home for a while and they don't have a job, they're not a family, so they can't apply. So I think that opens up a lot of doors for the community. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us what start to finish looks like for this program?
Well, if you're talking about the time frame for that, absolutely.
Yes, from application to closing a house.
Yep. So when individuals if they're interested in the program, most of the time they start with a phone call to Habitat to find out when are we going to be holding information meetings again. So I can tell you right now that we're planning on doing meetings in December, and registration for those meetings is going to open on November 18th. So, and they'll do that on our website, www.habitatdane.org. And that's usually a starting point. Come and learn all the details about the program. At the program information meeting, we will provide applications to anyone who doesn't have one already. We'll go through all the details. And after our last meeting in that group, usually 3 meetings, they'll have 10 days to submit an application. If they don't meet that 10-day window, they can do it on the next cycle. But if they get their application turned in, our Habitat staff is going to underwrite that application. We're going to double check all the things that, the places of employment, the current housing, sources of income, to make sure that they meet all the eligibility requirements. That'll take us, based on the volume of applications we usually get, up to 30 days, usually 30 to 40 days. Then we have a family selection committee. This is a group of volunteers from the community, and a really diverse committee I'm going to throw in there. I'm really happy with the people on the committee and where they're from. But the committee is going to review the applications that we have taken in, and then when we determine those that are eligible, the next step will be to schedule we call it our home visit interview. It's really an interview with 2 of our committee members. After we complete all those interviews, then the committee will select which families will go forward. So from the time they submit the application to the time they're finding out if they've been accepted is generally about 2 months. We'll say about 8 weeks. So then once they find that out, we'll begin doing a whole series of education around home buying. I should back up and say that we are going to, first of all, let them know they're accepted and they have the choice whether or not they continue in the program. So
they're not tied to anything at that point.
Right. No one's tied to buying the house until we get to that closing day and they sign those mortgage documents. So there's going to be a 12 to 18 month period while the home's being constructed, while we're working with the family, educating them on home ownership. We have a whole list of classes that we can talk more about. But the general time from start to finish, we're talking about that 12 to 18 month period before they would actually get the keys to a completed house. Lots going to happen in between. Great.
You had mentioned you had a home repair program also. I don't think a lot of people know about that. Can you talk about that?
I sure can. So Habitat for Humanity Dane County has actually been around since about 1987. And for much of that time, our focus was solely on building homes. And as you are probably aware of, as the home market got tighter and less homes are available, there's an additional focus on helping people stay in their homes. So aging in place, is some of the terminology that's used. So we started to do a home repair program about 7 years ago. And with it being an additional program, we had a little bit of start and stop going on with it until we got our feet under us. And what we're doing is looking at more critical home repair to keep the families in their home. So this is designed not for the Habitat home buyers, but actually so that we can serve more members of the community by coming in and doing some of those critical home repairs. If there's plumbing issues, roofing, it could even be something to do with landscaping or painting the home, but things that will keep someone in their home for a longer period of time. When we started the program, we do it very similar to our home buying program, where we're financing those repairs. So the homeowner was paying us back for the repairs at an interest-free loan. With our home building program and our home repair program, there's still a component where we use some volunteers to help us with the labor, so we try and keep costs as far down as possible. And then at the end of it, they would have an affordable payment with no interest. More recently, we have also applied for some funding sources that can act as grants to the homeowners, so some of the homeowners can get some financial assistance with that. You can probably imagine the opportunity to get some of those things fixed and at no cost to the homeowner makes it very popular. So those funds go out almost as fast as they come in. So we will always consider doing our financed repair, but the grants that we have are kind of a first come, first served basis.
I see. And is that program also based on income?
So the home repair program is based on income, but it is a much wider field of eligibility when it comes to income. You can imagine a lot of these folks that may be retired and living on Social Security don't have high income, but they don't have a lot of other debts to pay. So we can go as low as $15,000 a year as their monthly gross income. And then the cap on the program is tied to what's known as the area median income, and that's a number that is established by HUD, the Housing and Urban Development. And so we'll go up to 80% of the area median income when it comes to home repair. For our home buyer program, that only goes as high as 60%.
I see. Yeah, that does open up a lot of opportunities for people, like you said, not just Habitat owners, but even individuals who have purchased their home through the market. Say if someone applies for this and they didn't qualify because maybe their debt to income was too drastic or whatnot. You had mentioned that you had a financial education. Would that also be open to anyone who comes in through your door, or just Habitat families who are struggling?
Sure. The financial education programs that we have kind of cover our home buyers. We'll take courses to learn money management, banking, all things related to that. But there's a lot of times that applicants who don't qualify, we want to give them a resource, an ability to eventually qualify. So we call it our financial capability training. And we've actually partnered with the Dane County Extension from UW, and a member of our staff and a member from the Extension staff lead classes, and they are not limited to Habitat homeowners or even Habitat applicants. That's kind of how we grew it, and now that tends to get opened up to the public that they can register to attend those classes. So since we started that about 4 years ago, we have had 71 individuals going through training, and I like to throw this number out because I'm proud, but we've had 9 of those people that attended the financial education, fixed whatever the issues were that caused them not to be eligible for Habitat, reapplied, and 9 of them are back in their home, or they have bought their home.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
How long until, if you didn't qualify when you first applied, until you can reapply?
That's a great question. So if the reason why you didn't get in is an easy fix, you can reapply as soon as our next application round. So that's generally, they're spaced about 6 months apart. We've got a little different spread right now because we're making a few changes to our building methods. So that's why we extended until November. Normally we would have had that a little earlier this fall. So there's no waiting period other than you just have to wait till the next round. So if you've been able to fix whatever it was, excellent, and apply again.
Can you give us an easy example of what would be easy to fix?
What's easy to fix is, and we'll use the term easy kind of gently there, but sometimes people have judgments on their record and owe money. And sometimes it's as easy as it was maybe a speeding ticket that they paid, but they didn't take the next step of making sure that it got recorded with the clerk's office, and so it still shows it as an outstanding judgment against them. So any judgments have to be cleared up before they would be eligible. So that's one that they could go down and take care of. That's an easy fix. Sometimes there's collection items that folks might have on their credit record that they can take care of that way as well. Missing information, an incomplete application, generally we'll give folks a certain amount of time. If they turn in their application, we're expecting a number of accompanying documents. And if they don't get them in time for us to process during the cycle, they end up being declined because of an incomplete application. If
someone didn't know how to read and write in English, do you have Hmong translated documents available?
Great question. So we do have some of our documents that have been translated into Hmong. I wish we had everything, but we don't yet. That's a project we've worked on. It's actually a little costly, but we also have some things translated into Spanish and in Arabic as well, because Spanish, Arabic, and Hmong are really the three primary languages that we're seeing outside of English in Dane County. We do see some others, but so we will keep working on getting more documents translated, and if there's a document that someone is having a difficult time understanding, we'll work to get someone to help translate that as well.
Okay. You guys are very heavily based off of volunteer. Can you tell us if someone wanted to volunteer for Habitat, what opportunities are available?
Well, the best way to find our current volunteer opportunities would be going to our website, so habitatdane.org, and there's a volunteer tab, and you can click on it, and it pops up a calendar, and so all of the current opportunities are there, and you can sign up for them depending on what you like. So it could be spending the day on the construction site with our construction volunteers. It could be working in our warehouse that helps get items to the construction sites. It could be volunteering at Habitat Restore. We have an east side and a west side location. Or it could be driving on the Restore truck and helping pick up donations all around Dane County.
Awesome. Those of you who want to give back to the community, Habitat is a great program. So they're doing great things for the community. And by all means, I myself have volunteered and I'll continue to volunteer. And I would love for you guys to volunteer your time also. So many people have a family member or know of someone who has owned or is still currently in a Habitat home. And it just feels great to be able to give back. So I encourage you to reach out to these folks to volunteer your time. Anything else that you guys want to share about Habitat?
Yeah, so anyone that's listening, that what I'd really encourage you to do if you're interested in home ownership, check out our website, habitatdane.org. There's a lot of information out there about our eligibility requirements. There'll be information there about when the next enrollment's coming up. And you have to take that first step. Feel free to if you want to contact me or contact Habitat, there's a general email box that they can click on the website, and it'll get to me or my staff, and we can provide more information. I just encourage folks to start building that generational wealth. Start that,
Absolutely.
Getting that equity.
Absolutely. And especially in today's market where it's so difficult to obtain a loan because of the high interest rate. You're not alone out there, guys. As Paul and Jenny have said, a family is not to anyone's discretion. You can be partners, you can be friends, you just need to be able to pay your mortgage. And so you can have your home in this next 18 months. Paul said in November is the opening for the meeting in December. So reach out if you have any questions.
I think the general email box is just habitat@habitatdane.org. So you can submit any questions there, and that'll get routed into my department. One thing you had just said about mortgages, so I wanted to give an example of the impact of interest, because Habitat's first mortgages are at 0%. So if you were buying your home through Habitat and you had a $200,000 mortgage when you bought your house for 30 years, we're not charging any interest, so you're going to pay 0%. I looked up the interest rate today, and at today's interest rates, if you're buying that home on the market and had a 30-year mortgage for $200,000, the interest rate was 5.875. So your monthly payments,
And that's with excellent credit.
That's with excellent credit and with a good down payment.
Yes.
Our down payment is only 1%. But if you were buying that through a bank, you were going to pay over that 30-year time frame $425,880. So $200,000 for the house and $225,880 to use someone else's money to buy your house. That's what that interest really means to people.
Yeah, Habitat is doing an amazing job being able to get things under control for family who are already struggling. It's pretty amazing. I know people who are in Habitat homes, and if it wasn't for this program, they wouldn't have been able to afford the first home. So it's amazing. I've lived to see it, and I encourage people to apply.
Thank you. I'll throw one more thing in, and we talked about the volunteer opportunities. We're also always looking if you are someone who is bilingual, whether it's Hmong, Spanish, Arabic has a high demand in this area as well. That is another way you can volunteer. If you let us know that you are bilingual and willing to help do some interpreting for other families getting into programs, that's another great way you can do it. And it's a less frequent opportunity, so it's not as high as demand as going out and building on a work site for a week or something like that.
And I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because of all these volunteers, you're able to gift this back to the community. Is that correct?
The use of volunteers, it does a number of important things. Because one of the most important things is giving the community the opportunity to engage and do something that's meaningful to them. So I think that is really important. When we're building homes and using some of the volunteers to help us, that does help keep costs down as well. It might stretch out that construction period longer than if we just had someone build it, but it engages that volunteer. It gets their heart in a good place for them. And it does help keep our costs down. So
I'm sure it gives the buyers a lot of pride to say, I built this. Me and my families, we hammered this together. And I remember when we put this door on, and because of this, we were able to do it, or we struggled to do something here.
Yeah, it's a really great interaction. I think it's really special when the families are out on the build site and the volunteers are there. They make bonds, and the families overwhelmingly, when we survey them after they've gotten into their home, say how great it was to work with these volunteers and how great it was to get those relationships.
Any age limit on volunteers? Can high schoolers come in and help?
So that's a great question. On our work sites, active construction sites, we have to be careful. So we're following safety rules, and so at 18 years old, they're able to help on the construction sites. If they're 16, there are some things that they can do on a construction site, but they're somewhat limited. At our restores, 16 is also the minimum age to volunteer. So, yeah, high schoolers can help.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you again so much, you two, for coming here today to talk about Habitat. Thank you for all that you're doing for the community. And again, if you can just state one more time a number and an email that people can reach you at.
Sure. So again, the phone number, which I don't think we've mentioned, is 608-255-1549, and extension 100 is going to get them to my department, to Family Services, where they can get information about the home buying program, the home repair program, and our financial education. Habitat's website is www.habitatdane.org. And the email for general emails is habitat@habitatdane.org.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Paul and Jenny.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
我叫考古伦的跑的吉尼塔手里拿了，在那边有这个木龙，吉塔谢谢你和我去海到北龙啊。
thế rồi cứ bảo là thea ta xí mà cho nênว่าป้าจัวตัวรู้ใจจอนอนเลยเชิงกากีสีลูตัวหัวลุ่นตัวแม่ละสินแล้วจะหอบเพียย่อป้าตัวเจ้าว่าหายหนึ่งว่าหายลูทองเดลวงกีละสิลีลูเมลูมงเทียลูชัวแล้วว่าเขาลูทองเปล่าตัวหัวรู้ใจจอเทียกีป้าเทียเดอเต้เมงตัวเจ้าไปสินว่าตื่นจัวกีป้าเทียกีเชิงย่อหัวเลยลุ่นลันตงcho chùa cho lúc ấy do nó làว่าเขาเลยตัวchoไปสั่งเที่ยcho công hậuป้าเปิดจีคอกับmột cái sự chính xác đỡ ไปสั่งเที่ยรุ่นจงcho nó chứ cho nên chùa cho lúc ấy do ว่าเขาเลยตัวcho ไปสั่งลิกะอีกคนแต่ละจะได้หนูยอเที่ยก็ติ้งนิ่งมัวเก๋เกิดเป้าchoเก๋ป้าว่ารุ่นจงมัวปูเลยcho ไปสั่งจะจีอีมุกเฮียตัวcho nên ว่าเขาเลยตัวเขารุ่นจงเที่ยchoเธอchoก่อนเลยมัวเก๋จีคอจงตัวเลยจีจ้าก็มัวเก๋ยังเชียเดอจะไปสั่งเที่ยรุ่นจงจะกงเฮาเขาเก๋เจียสีเชียแล้วเขายอมลังตัวจัวเจ้ารู้ใจยอมมงแล้วจีนี่ยอป้าเจ้ายาแล้วสิจีเองตัวจัวเจ้าใจยอตัวจะให้นิ่งชัวนะจีหัวฮอลลี่เชงพอตัวจัวเจ้ารู้ใจยอว่าตัวจะให้ลูเมย์นะจีหัวโนชมาโกเรโรcho chùa họ lừa nhớ cho họ cho công hậu họ lúc dây do nó là công tên cho nó cho công hậu hoa tiền CBO cho lý cho họ kế ít chữ mua chỉ nhau cho ít lúc dây do tư là một công tên kế nó họ lúc dây do khi cho bây sừng bao cho luôn trong cho kế ba chùa theo kế bi là kế cho chữ gì lòng đợi cho công hậu là cô ba chùa cho kế đây nụ cho nên họ lựa hồn trong thia ít khó chỉ cho ba chơi cho họ lựa có mua kế chỉ thia lo và chùa cho đầu hải ninh thia lưu dây cho là ba cho nên họ lựa xí chùa luôn cho và hai lựa họ lựa và chỉ do luang kỳ là cô cùng tên cho nên họ lựa họ luôn trong cho họ kế lòng đợi bây sinh có kế cùng tên
ก็ตัดตำลงส่งต้นจมง the WORT อยู่จบพันโจ FM Madison
thật cái nó dân trọng tin lắm long luôn trong Madison thì mỗi cái là gì cho bé nhớ đâu lừa giàu ở thả trong đầu nhà hành gì do tiền này mỗi lần nu đã chi sạp bao đã chi là do xã tì tàu đồ dọc khoa nếu hữu tàu đồ cuốn đợi tàu xuân gì ở tàu ý bao tàu chi gì là chỉ email đồ cuốn đợi gyang@cdofmadison.com mua lửa của châu chua từ do kia còn tệ châu bé hải mong của châu và thế cái xe tìa yuan chi này sợ đợi đâu lửa lửa lì
xin dài mù tao trâu xa châu sông cô tu nâng rồng có nhỏ lì cha có bùa bao tê hậu cụm lông xia chùa y tăng trại trăng chi tàu khoa lao lao lúa lo trưng cho con xin nụ con chạy mua lúa thu mò cú lụp đời chúa trừ ơi dù là mùa nắng trở kề trong đu khuôn đủ lý bùa đầy ta bùa nâng lư plơ lo cho nụ nó có bùa bao tê cũ chỉ tàu có gia lý thu bò và lũ cũ cỡ bây giờ cháu xong là tránh cho trời là quá lu nâng chỉ chờ kiên chờ chân cho có cơ tu cú lu chỉ lu ý giàu là chỉ tao rau nó lâu lâu nhé Youa mù nhẹ nụ từ giờ tê của nó su thoa thọ có tua khó cho bu trong cu na y rau và rau cơ Youa mù chia đa bao tê cũ chỉ tàu có gia lý thu bò và lũ cũ cỡ bây giờ cháu xong là tránh cho trời là quá lu nâng chỉ chờ kiên chờ chân cho có cơ tu cú lu chỉ lu ý giàu là chỉ tao rau nó lâu lâu nhé Youa mù nhẹ nụ từ giờ tê của nó su thoa thọ có tua khó cho bu trong cu na y rau và rau cơ Youa mù chia đa
Bye.